Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to this week. For me, it is the end of spring break. I had 2 weeks off. As a teacher, that is a miracle. I personally moved so slow. I was expecting Aries season to kick off with a bang. But when I look back at the astrology of the beginning of Aries season, there was still a lot of planets very confused in Pisces, still very much moving in the sludge of it. And at first, I felt really disappointed with myself that I wasn't doing more, that I wasn't being more, that I wasn't trying harder. And whatever that try is, whatever your own personal try harder vibe is, maybe you felt that way too. Maybe you just didn't have the get up and go you thought you were going to have. Because I feel like a lot of us were talking about the year of the fire horse, the year of Aries. We're going forward. It's spring, blah, blah, blah. I think there's all this forward momentum pressure when really it's the midpoint of Aries where things really start to take off. So we're at this precipice now of almost reaching that midpoint. And I say all of this because we're starting it this week. It's just the start of something that I believe is going to have long-term ramifications, of something that I believe, on a world level could be life-changing. Like our soul iteration on this planet could be changed irrevocably, because when there's big astrology happening, big planets shifting, and there's so many in Aries, it is forward moving at all costs. So what I wanted to say was, if you hadn't felt as productive as you thought maybe you were going to, that's okay to start. It is okay. It is okay that right now, maybe there's the restless feeling. Maybe there's the what next feeling. Maybe there is confusion or a feeling of letdown. But I kind of love that for us, because that is when the miracles happen. That is when the soul transformation really gets going. And on my walk today, I was just thinking about something, and it felt important to me that when you are living your life, imagine if your whole world was an actual soundtrack, but you were picking the music. Because we all have favorite types of music. We all have things that we're doing. We all have like our vibes that we like. But I mean this on the most soulful level possible, that at all times we are choosing the soundtrack of our lives. And I want you to take a minute right now and imagine what your soundtrack would be right now. And I want you to go in your Spotify, in your iTunes, wherever you listen to music, in your records. We listen to a lot of records over here. Play that song. Play that song. What is it? We have totally different tastes, I can guarantee you. Whatever that song is, I want you to play it 3 times in a row. And I want you to write down what feelings it elicits, what the meaning of the song is for you, what the smells, what the vibes, what the memories, what the anything it is to you. What is your song soundtrack right now? And understand that you can change it anytime you want. And this comes with a lot of accountability. And accountability to me is high road Aries. Welcome to the season. It is the season of Aries right now. We're starting out right now, as I'm talking to you, 4 planets in Aries. But by April 17th, there's going to be 7 goddamn planets in Aries. It almost makes me feel like there should be a whole podcast on Aries alone. Maybe I will do that later this week. But to give you the cliff notes of that, Aries is cardinal. Cardinal energy is very starter energy. It is go. It is not time to sit on it. It is time to go with it. And this week we get the big hit of Mars moving into Aries. And Mars rules Aries. Mars is our warrior. Mars is our armor. Mars is our fighter. On a low road, it is fighting. It is war. It is defensiveness. It is winning at all costs. It is forward at all costs. It is, in a way, an egoic battle of self, because Aries rules the first house. Aries is the very first sign you see on the astrological wheel. It starts off all astrology because it is birth. It is the body. It is the ego. It is the id. It is the creation of it all. So don't be surprised, bitches, if all of a sudden you're like, things have been so slow and I've been so tired. And listen, this bitch did nothing last week. I slept. I watched smut TV. I read like 2 books. I read Project Hail Mary and then went and saw Project Hail Mary and freaking cried so many times because I just want to meet the aliens too. I just want us all to love each other too. I need a Rocky in my life to depend on, don't you? I digress. But I didn't do much. And at first I was going to be judgy, but I picked high road Aries. And let's talk about high road Aries, because Aries is number 1. That high road is going to be always and forever you. It is you. It is your body. It is what you are doing with yourself. It is how you are moving in the world. And it is fire. It is big. It is loud. It is ruled by Mars. And so with Mars itself going into Aries, and then it's going to brush up against Neptune, it's almost like we see that our biggest enemy to our dreams is ourselves. Is this notion that we're listening maybe to the wrong soundtrack, that we're walking to the rhythm that is maybe created by other people, that is maybe created by our soul cycles. Have you ever been in like a vibe and then you go to the grocery store and you're vibing, you just listen to your music in the car and then like Radiohead's playing and you're like, oof, wow, now I feel sad. And I don't know why I feel sad. It's because Radiohead's playing. Or someone near and dear to you is suffering, or it's raining outside, or fill in the blank of whatever that soundtrack is that brings the frequency level to a new level for you. Maybe you're just listening to the wrong music. And that's why this homework assignment feels really important for this week, because I'm asking you to find a song with intention. I'm asking you that if you pick your song and you listen to it 3 times over and that bitch don't sound good anymore, or it's kind of sad, or it's not actually resonating with you, to take a minute, to take a hot minute. And I absolutely give you permission to change your mind and say, this ain't it. And then you roll with another song and see what that feels like. And then I want you to take the essence of that song and apply it to everything that's going on right now. Because listen, I am a little bit afraid for the world for all of this Aries action to be combusting all at the same time. Because next week, Mars and Saturn are going to come together, and that's a once in a 2-year collision. And in Aries, it's rough. It's a little intense. It's like first Mars hits our dream sector and we come face to face with this mirror of what soundtrack are you listening to? Because maybe you just need to get on the right sound wavelength for yourself. Maybe you just need to feel yourself a little bit more, because don't forget, Aries rules the body too. And so if there is all of this energy headed towards your body, you best be listening, my dear friends. You best be listening to what your body energy levels are saying, to your diet and nutrition, to your sleep cycles. It's all up right now. And it's all a reflection of how you have been taking care of yourself. There is that book that I love. Oh my God, my cat and his Mars energy right now. Do you guys hear him? He is ruining my vibe. That soundtrack, no thanks. Anyway, Aries rules the body. So I want you to really understand that if something is up with your body in this next cycle, I want you to take it serious. I want you to say, my body keeps the score. There's a whole book on that if you want to go deeper. My Body Keeps the Score is a great book. And what I love about it is that it says that nothing you do is meaningless, that everything you do, I just threw a pillow at him. I don't know if it's going to work, that everything that you are doing is being stored in your body, that everything you're feeling, that everything you're going through, that everything that transpires is going to be kept here in our vessel. It is the thing that moves us. And this isn't even a hippie thing to say that we store our emotions in our body. I was a massage therapist for years, and I can tell you so many times I would touch just the right spot and release a huge emotion. This cat. What do I do with that? We just keep on moving forward, says Aries. When we release emotions, when we get our body touched in a certain way, it activates something inside of us. And that is so potent. And that is so amazing. And I just trying to move with this podcast while my cat is singing his siren song is everything. And to me, it is the best and most profound example of Aries I can think of. I only have this last thing that I can throw at him, and it's not very great. It's didn't make it. It didn't make it. Peace be with us on our journey of my cat meowing. Anyway, this is Aries energy right now. What's happening right now is Aries is disruptive. Aries is loud. Aries only can focus on its self. And for better or worse, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, as my dad used to say. I'd like to throw some fits right now. I'd like to skin some cats right now. I don't even know how to solve it other than to just keep throwing my stuff at him and hope that he gets the memo. That was a lighter meow. Maybe he's getting it. So heading back into having all of these planets in Aries, when we start this week with Neptune and Mars coming together in Aries, it is this very profound ask of maybe you have been thinking about the wrong dream. And you're going to come face to face with that reality this week. How do you think that's going to make you feel if all of a sudden the ramifications of what you've been dreaming about really aren't what you actually want, or what would really be what's best for you? Because not to be dramatic, but Aries is kind of dramatic. This is the time for self. Aries rules the self. And just like it rules the body and the newborn and the beginner energy, so too does it rule forward motion and how we strap on our boots. We are warriors, each and every one of us. And with all these planets in Aries, we're going to see a global impact, surely. But I'm not here to talk about the world. I'm here to talk about you, because it is my very humble opinion that we cannot change the world unless we are changing ourselves too. And I heard something really lovely today, and I can't remember where I heard it from. I believe it was on a podcast that said, resolution comes in one of two ways: changing yourself or changing the world. And I agree. And I think sometimes we think that by changing others or by changing the world, that is going to emphatically give us meaning or change ourselves, when really it's the opposite. The opposite must be true, that we must be warriors of self. Because if you charge into battle and you're about to face your soul monsters, you'd better know who they are. You'd better know what they are, and you'd better know what you're coming against. And this week, I believe we are going to get a memo, maybe not so subtle since everything's in Aries, of what that soul dragon really is all about. What we really want. Is it love? Or is it just desire? Is it commitment, or is it just loyalty? There's so many different ways to try to comprehend and understand what it is we're bringing into our reality. And thus I cycle back to that soundtrack invite this week, that if you know what vibe you're grooving to, well, the rest of the world, it grooves with you or it pings away from you. And that's why vibes are so important. I hate that some of the woo-woo community has stolen the word vibes, because to me, vibes belongs everywhere. I'm a vibe, you're a vibe. I'm wearing a plaid shirt with astrological yoga pants. I'm a vibe. And I dance to the beat of my own drum, so do you. You maybe just don't know what freaking drum is being drummed right now inside of you, and it's about drawing it out. My stepdaughter has these nights sometimes where she invites her friends over and they have cry parties. They watch movies in order to cry and they like it. That's a vibe, and we all do that. We all listen to that sad song. I know you know which one, because we all have a sad song in our spank bank that we just have at the ready that we put on to freak out to. Yes, we do. In high school, mine was Limp Bizkit. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, we all have our own vibes. We all have the things we emote to. We all have the things that draw out emotion. And so, we can be using our Spotify in a much more spiritual way than ever before. You can be looking at your playlists and see, what is the vibe lately? What's the vibe check of your year? Spotify does that wrapped thing, or, whatever. You're looking at whatever you've played the most, and that is an indicator of where you were at that year, what you were choosing to listen to. And that's just one sector. Some of us aren't music people. I am a huge music person. I even have a mix that I like to get sexy to. And if that mix hasn't been played in a while, well, I know. Because I have proof of it, because I have the order in which my playlists get played. And that is information. The playlists I choose to play. Take this literally or philosophically at your leisure. The playlists I choose to play are the vibes I'm choosing to attract. The conversations you're having, the television you're watching, the lovemaking you're having, the things you are filling your day with is your vibe check. It is. And for me, because I listen to so much music, it's just a very easily accessible vibe check for me. I always know where I'm at. And I just told my partner there's this one mix. It's called Bad Bitch Energy, that when I listen to it, I get in a better mood. I'll share it with you on some platform, as long as you don't make fun of the fact that a Kelly Clarkson song's on there. I don't know. I don't make up the rules, okay? The heart wants what it wants, and I want to break away. That's the song. Anyway, what I'm really trying to say is, this is a week to fortify yourself. This is a week to precipice the next decisive moment that I have been talking about on this podcast a lot. This is the time. This is your moment, but you're not going to see it if you are righteously attuned to your vibe. And I want you to work on that this week. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Have you heard that? Look at your friends. Listen. I've dated some guys that have had friend circles that are not my favorite. And did our relationship work out? No, it didn't. Because my partner wasn't necessarily them, but his vibe attracted his tribe. That's all I'm going to say, right? Like, we are drawing in what we are reflecting out. And this is a major time of accountability for yourself to say, what music am I listening to? What is the first thing I do when I wake up? If it's check your phone, that's a vibe check. If it's get a cup of coffee, I love that for you. I love that for me. That's exactly what I do when I first wake up. Or at least press the button of the Pavlov dog response of then the brewing of the coffee, and you get it. That's fine. I'm into that for us. But I do want you to start having some self-awareness around what it is you're doing that is attracting or repelling what you think you are wanting. Because never have I ever said this in a more serious way. I say it all the time, but with all these planets moving into Aries, the problem is you. You're the problem. For me, I'm the problem for me. It's me. Ew. Ugh. There are so many blocks. There's so many subconscious, deeply buried wounds. There's ancestral shit. It's heavy. Of course it is. This life iteration isn't supposed to be easy. And do you know why I know that? Because we forget a lot of the easy times. So I've made this pact with myself that I am not going to forget this spring break of ease. Because I did that. I took my ease and it felt fabulous. I hardly saw anyone. I hardly did anything. But I restored something really sacred inside myself. I did go to yoga most days. And the days I didn't, I went on a walk. I did do those things for myself. And that was me saying, oh, girl, you're doing better. than you were doing last year and the year before. You're doing better when left with unlimited options. You chose to go support your body. You chose to go outside. And that is a major shift for me, because most times in my life, when I have free time, I choose to fill it doing for others, being of service. And listen, I'm always going to be that way. That's who I am as a person. I'm a teacher. I'm someone who deeply desires to connect and help others. But this spring break taught me something else too, that if that is what I'm here to do, then I simply must also do it for myself, or I won't be giving from a place of knowing what that giving can really do for you, for me, for we. But it always starts with I. I am what? What is your vibe check right now? That's your only mission this week, because next week starts to get dicey, and the week after that, and stuff goes down. And it's busy, and things might start happening way faster than you ever imagined they could. And I want you to think back on this time of the restlessness. The period of time before big change happens always comes with a little bit of restlessness. So if you've been feeling restless or a little lost or a little idle, that's great. It is always the person, because I've gone to some circles, right? I live in Ashland, Oregon. It is a very, new age town. I've been to some women's circles. I've been to all that stuff. And I will tell you that every single time a bitch comes in and is like, I just feel so healed. I really feel like I've ascended, you guys. I really feel like I'm doing great. I've reached perfection. Whenever someone comes at it with work done, that's the person I focus on. That's the person I'm like, get my popcorn, and I sit and I watch their soul. Because by golly, 10 out of 10 times, the person that's like, no notes, I'm doing great, nothing to fix here, is the person that is about to get rocked in a way they could have never fathomed, because there is no such thing as healed. Nope. You can't tell me otherwise. There's no such thing as absolute total Dharma ascension. No, sir. Get off my cloud. You're not welcome here, because we are ever evolving. We are ever preparing, and none of us can ever prepare for what life really, truly has in store for us. So watch out. When you're listening to this podcast and you're like, things are great, Jasmine. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't need anything. I want you to hear my cat in the background. He's saying, good luck with that. Come at me next year when all the shit's gone down. And listen, shit going down doesn't always have to be bad. It can maybe look bad. It can maybe be hard. It can maybe be challenging, but it doesn't always mean it's so bad. Even the worst things that happen in our life grow us in a way that we never could have quantified. It is why when grief comes to us, because it comes for all of us eventually. I can't tell you how many friends have told me, I wish I had known that this is what you were going through, or I would have been there for you more when my mom died and stuff. And it's like, no, that's not it. Because the truth is, grief comes for all of us, and grief looks, feels, and expresses different through and by us all. And how I know that is I'm old now. Is all it takes is just life. Life keeps lifing. And it doesn't matter how good you have it. It certainly doesn't matter how much money you make or how much love you have around you. Life keep lifing. And you'd better vibe check every once in a while. And you'd better find that soundtrack, because that is how you make your way back to yourself. And if you are listening to songs that make you sad, maybe you want to be sad. I'm just saying. I used to be terrified of working out because that's where all my anger lives, in this body. And so whenever I do something that takes my breath away, I was a 2-month preemie. And so my lungs are a little, shisty, a little not well-made, return to sender. But oops, I can't, they're in my body. I get frustrated with my limited breathing capacity sometimes, or how red I get, or just the frustration and anger always comes. But through consistent exercise, through showing up to hot yoga, through showing up to those walks, I've learned that it is just the fear response. It is just the hardship of the unexpressed emotions inside of me coming out through my movement because that's how I am expressing. And now I don't listen to the angry music the same way I used to. Oh my God, you guys, I used to listen to the most rageful, angry, hateful music when I would work out because it was how I worked out. I'd go on the cross trainer and I'd just listen to horror. But now I've been listening to that bad bitch energy music, to that music that inspires me, to that music that makes me manifest what I want next. And now my walks are manifesting walks. My yoga has a practice about it. It has an intention around it. It has something that I'm working up towards. Instead of just feeling all of the anger and the frustration, because Lord knows there's going to be a lot of it. With Mars and Aries and all these planets in Aries, there's going to be so much of it, you guys. Where are you going to challenge yourself to channel it better? How are you going to do that? That is the ask of this period of time, that I was just channeling it wrong. I was like raging with it. I was in that Rage Against the Machine vibe because, Lord, I listened to a lot of that. But once I stepped back and saw it as an opportunity to work through my shit more completely, now I work with it instead of against it. And I don't hate it as much as I used to. I still hate it. We're working on it, but not as much. And that's a vibe check. What's yours? Thank you so much for listening, you guys. My one ask, my one call to action today is that if you liked this podcast, is that if you like listening to me, that you just tell someone else about me this week that doesn't know about me yet. That's my ask. And it means so much to me because once a conversation gets started, once one person says one thing about me to one other person, that's how the line, the chain of connection gets started. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week. It'll be a doozy.